Hi everyone, welcome to the great outdoors. I was actually just filming a video and my camera battery died and I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So I was like, well, I have my phone. And do you like that watermelon sitting right there? I was eating that earlier and I just left it there, just soaking up some sunshine. But anyway, so I decided to pull my camera out and just continue my train of thought and see if I can re-grasp it, what I was talking about. So the other day I was having this conversation with my father about spirituality and practical life. And he's always told me that, Kajal, the way you think is far beyond what normal people think. And the way you look at the world and the way you perceive things and yada, 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 it's just beyond the normal comprehension of the average person. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, it doesn't translate into the practical world that we live in today. We live in a world where we need money. There are problems. There are people dying. There are certain situations. There's threat. There's fear. There's consequences for actions you take or you don't take. Basically, how does spirituality fit into the world that we live in? And I was like, I'm going to figure this out because I love to make myself think, and I love to make people think. And I just was thinking about this in a meditation and just journaling about it, and this is what comes to my mind. Regardless of what, first of all, let's define what spirituality is. Spirituality is not a religion. It is not some cult. It is not a it is not some like group that does things weird differently. It just literally is this awareness, living with the awareness that you are always in charge of how you feel, how you think, how you interpret, how you make decisions, what choices you make. You're always in charge, and there is no man in the sky making these decisions for you, that you create your own reality and that you are the creator of your life. You are the creator of the life experiences you have. Spirituality, what I like to say, is a study of the self. It's most of the times we are not taught about how to understand our emotions, our mental processes, our feelings, how to interpret anger, worry, uncertainty. We're not taught these basic things about how to understand ourselves. So spirituality helps you understand yourself far beyond your physical form, far beyond the name you're given at birth, the GPA you graduated with, the job you're in right now. It helps you understand, who am I beyond all this external stuff? And when you have that awareness where you know that you are a spirit and a human body having this human experience, you don't feel as powerless. You feel more powerful. You realize that you're in charge of your life. You make your own destiny, and that you create your reality purely based on what you think. What you think is what you feel. What you feel then for is the emotion that you plays out in your body. So how you mix spirituality and practical everyday life together is by realizing that I'm always in charge of how I feel, regardless of what is going on around me. There could be a tsunami. My best friend could die. I could break my phone right now and the screen could shatter. But the way I react determines my reality. So if something that happens to me, I get all worked up about it. I get very dramatic about it. I get very upset about it. We're allowed to get upset. We're allowed to feel what we need to feel, but we need to, at some point, make that decision. When am I going to move on from this? How am I going to allow this to be an opportunity for even greater healing to occur, for even greater way for me to help myself? Having that awareness doesn't feel so much like we're a victim of our circumstances, that we're actually in charge of our circumstances, because the way we interpret, the way we define what happens to us creates that reality for us. And when that is probably like the biggest realization, I guess, reminder that I've had, was that I'm always in charge of how I feel regardless of what happens. And everything that happens for me, so I can expand, so I can crack a bit more open, so I can learn more about myself in regards to my true nature, which is always a spirit. I am a spirit having a human experience. And that's how you mix spirituality and this practical world that we live in, that everything happens outside of us. And what we do with what happens outside of us creates the reality that we have within us. And the more we realize that we're in charge of our space, we're in charge of the space we live in, as in the mind, the body, the soul, this energy that we live in within ourselves, we realize that we have the decisions, we can make the decisions to allow this to affect me or this to not to affect me. And we can process it. We can go through the mourning, go through the grief, go through the anger, but then we have to realize that, okay, I need to move on from this, and how am I going to let this empower me? How am I going to let this expand me? How am I going to let this grow me? When we do that, we reclaim our power. We reclaim our oneness with the infinite, which is infinite spirit, God, source energy, the universe, whatever you call it. I hope this message serves you and that it made you think. If you know someone who would love to hear this message, send the link to this video to them. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a beautiful, miraculous, sunny, abundant, what's another word? Exciting day. Tell me in the comments below what's one thing that makes you feel good, and I'll catch you later. Bye, friends.